Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman, and today we are talking about what happens when we have Venus placed in the sign of Aries in our 7th house for Libra Ascendant. So if you have Libra Ascendant, Aries is going to be in the 7th house, and if you have Venus here, that's what we're talking about today. So if you're interested in learning about that, stick around. And before we get into all the good details about Venus and Aries in the 7th, just like to let you guys know that I am a Vedic astrologer. I do Vedic astrology readings professionally, so you can check them out over at gebotheshaman.com. You can see all those. I do have a lot of really good sales going on right now on all my astrology certification course, my qigong courses, my astrology readings and consultations, birth time rectification, and other stuff there. So alright, so just to let you guys know about that. And then so let's get into Aries in the 7th, or Venus in Aries in the 7th. So this Venus is referred to as the Lagnesh for Libra ascendants. So the Lagnesh basically just means the Lord of the Ascendant, or the Lord of the Lagna, or the first house, ascendant, rising sign, Lagna, all words for the same thing. So when the first Lord is placed in the 7th house, we have that aspect. So the Lord of the house is aspecting the house directly. And so this means that this can be very challenging for Libra ascendants to deal with, because it's almost like an opposition. The Lord of Libra is Venus placed in the 7th house. It's like opposing it's opposing you, basically, essentially, is what it's doing. So in order to learn about this placement more in depth, we need to understand well, first of all, I will say why the Lagnesh is so important is because it does have an effect on your personality. It does have an effect on you individually, and kind of has an effect because it rules the sign that you were born in. So for Libra, you're born under the sign of the planet Venus. So that basically means that Venus is going to have a hand in really Venus is going to have a hand in giving you your personality and your challenges in life and things like that. So it's a lot of hard work. it's just challenging in this position because it's basically opposing you. So that's challenging. All right, so then let's talk about Venus in Aries in the 7th house. So what is the 7th house? The 7th house is the house of your relationships, namely your marriage. It has primarily to do with your marriage, but it can also indicate like business partnerships and things like that. Any legal agreement, any legal contract that you sign with another person is pretty much your partners, your business partners or marriage partner. because even in marriage you have to sign a contract, so, you know, not the funnest thing in the world to have that kind of agreement, but anyway. So seventh house is like the house of your marriage, the house of your partnerships, your legal agreements, your legal contracts, things like that. And then we have Aries in here. So Aries in the seventh house. So Aries is all about, well, what is Aries? Aries is about Aries is the planet of the sign of basically war. Aries is ruled by Mars, which is the warrior, and so Aries is, it's all about being headstrong, conquering, masculine energy, aggression, strength, willpower, physical activity, things like that. So it's all about really getting to really like being very aggressive, very strong, very competitive, very controlling, dominating, manipulating, things like that, because this is all about war and strategies in war, things like that. So Aries is the warrior. So anyway, let's see here. And then we have Venus in here. So what is Venus? Well, Venus is the lord of your Lagna, your Lagnesia. And that is, like I said, it's opposing you, basically, essentially. So Venus represents art, beauty, romance, relationships, fun. It represents good things in life, like beautiful things. It wants to indulge in the material world. Venus wants to love and experience the world and experience joy, beauty, passion, art, romance, singing, dancing, being creative, things like that. And for men, this is the karka of your relationships. So, in other words, the karka is basically the significator. So Venus is the significator of your marriage. However, you're going to have to look at where your Mars is placed as well, because if there's any conjunctions or aspects to Venus here in the seventh house, then that's going to have a different effect. It's going to, you'll learn more by looking at your Mars placement. Alright, so then we have so we put this all together. So essentially what we're doing is we are putting these energies together. So we have Venus in the seventh house, that goes together very nicely. And then we have Aries here. So Aries, Venus in Aries is not a happy Venus. It's almost like you have the princess on a battlefield. So you have, this a princess basically on a battlefield, and that's not where they belong. that's not where she belongs. So it's really about, control, domination, manipulation, things like that. So this shows that you will have a very dominating, manipulative, controlling partner. And if you're a female, you would tend to go for the more masculine guys, the alpha males, the very, tall, dark, and handsome, and controlling, and people with, like basically bad boys. So essentially what's happening here is you get wrapped up in your passions, with, because Aries is hot. Aries is all about physical attraction, less so about love or romance. So, if you are a female with this position, with Libra Ascendant, Venus in your 7th, you're going to be essentially riding the carousel, is what it is. You'll be driven by your passion, by your emotions, by your lust, and be riding the carousel. Essentially is what this is. So, stop. Just stop. So, it doesn't benefit you to do that, because each time you do that, you're basically deprogramming, or you're basically taking you're rewiring your brain in negative ways that will basically, it's basically removing the programming for marriage, essentially, is what it is. So, because if you follow this Venus and you're having multiple partners and you're, riding the carousel, like having one night stands and just doing all kinds of crazy shit, you're going to be, in a bad situation, basically. So, the key for this Venus is monogamy. Learn to temper your passions, your desires, your impulses, and learn to, just find a long-term partner. That's better than having multiple, 500 one-night stands. So, in other words, stop being such a... in other words, because this was what this Venus can do. It's it's very sexually active, very promiscuous. But, So if you're a guy with this position, yikes. Equally as much not a good position. Because even though you want that Libra female, that submissive, attractive, feminine type, what all men are looking for is pretty much a Libra woman. That's not going to be the case. It's going to be more of a domineering woman. It's going to be a controlling, manipulative, domineering person that you end up, marrying or having a long-term relationship with because of your codependence. So I'll just leave it there. Yeah, Libra ascendants can a lot of times be very codependent because, of multiple things in their chart, but we won't go there. So yeah, if you have this placement, it's like if you're a woman, just please stop sleeping around. It's like you're not doing yourself any favors with that. And if you're a man, just don't rush into anything. Don't, if somebody is trying to control you, there's a good reason for that. Because they want to manipulate you. They want to use you. So, in other words, don't fall for it. Don't get married. Don't sign any legal contracts. I would not recommend any men getting married with this position, especially. Until you're maybe older and wiser and can see the error of your ways. So, yeah, and it's really, it's difficult because Venus is in a bad placement, in a bad sign. So, and it's aspecting your first house. So, this means that it's going to be very direct, very confrontational, very, stuff like that. So, and for women, the more you sleep around, the more this just says like it's going to have an impact on your physical body. You could get, diseases or whatever. So, use common sense. Don't open your legs. Or, keep them closed. So, yeah, this is a very, it's just basically what Aries is doing is it's burning up all of Venus's energy. So, it's essentially burning it out. It's so if Venus was in a more supportive sign, what you would see in the 7th house was, a kind partner, a good partner, ladies who exercise judgment when sleeping around and things like that. So, yeah. Alright, so let's see here. I think I'm about done, guys, so sorry to burst everybody's bubble, but yeah, it's not that great of a placement. So, of course, you need to look at, other planets. What are other planets doing? Are there conjunctions, aspects, what's going on with other planets? And that'll provide you more information on that. So, the best remedy for this placement is you would have to find your own mantra, but yeah, using mantra and spiritual practices and self-control, definitely a plus there. So yeah, so anyway, guys, that's about it for me for today. So if you're interested in anything that I have to offer, you can go to geboshaman.com. And if you are interested, we have a bunch of sales going on. So I have my astrology certification course. I have that basically is it actually includes your own free website that you don't have to pay for, that I pay for actually, and it's essentially a way to become a certified Vedic astrologer and start getting clients using, you can use, social media promotion or anything that you want to do there. And then it's then you'll have your own PayPal button and everything like that. So yeah. And then we have the astrology consultations. So astrology consultations are basically I have my basic birth chart reading, astrology reading, as well as readings that focus on your relationships and your career. And then we have birth time rectification. So if you're interested in that, if you actually don't have a birth time, or maybe you don't have a birth time, or it's not certain, like your parents didn't write it down or something like that. Those things happen. So the birth time rectification is geared towards providing you inaccurate birth time. Alright, and then we have the rune readings. So we have what's called the 9 world rune readings, which basically talk about your current conscious experience, what you're manifesting, what's coming to you, your hopes, dreams, and wishes, problems with your identity and what's going on with your identity, your relationships with others, your actions that you're taking, what you're unconscious of, and what your higher self or, what the Ascended Masters are trying to tell you. Alright, so that's the 9 world rune readings, and then we have the Qigong courses. So I do offer Qigong courses because I've been doing Qigong for the past few years, so it's been really helpful for me, and I know that it will be helpful to all of you. So we have the Cosmic Qigong here, as well as the Self-Transformation Challenge, and both of those courses are extremely powerful, and they tap into the heart center, the lightning energy of the heart center, which is not anything that any other Qigong practice can say, because this comes from a long line of esoteric Taoist masters of a certain tradition, and it's very secret, very private. So if you're interested in that, I would highly recommend checking it out. And then we have the career coaching and life coaching. So if you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing in life and just kind of confused, or, a lot of people just, they want to do something, but they don't have the, guts to actually do it, or, they're scared or something like that. So this consultation will basically ensure that you are following in your right path, and basically get you to really help yourself in following your soul. So it's very good. As well as we have ongoing life coaching stuff, so check that out as well. And we have the trauma healing course, which is basically the trauma healing course is essentially basically a course that helps you become more aware of your emotions and help you to tap into them and just accept them and sit with them, because they're not harmful, they can be intense sometimes, and that's okay. Alright, and then we have the distance energy healing. So that also taps into emotional energy, and a lot of people think that that's just for like physical healing, but it's actually for the energy body, because when we trap emotions, those emotions are energy, and when stagnant energy is in the body, it manifests in the tissues and causes disease. causes illness. So anyway, guys, if you're interested in anything that I have to offer, you can go to gebotheshaman.com, and we will talk to you next time. Also, please click that like button and hit the subscribe button as well, and click the bell as well. So yeah, until next time, we'll talk to you later. Peace.